I'm Joni Sancken, and I wrote Words That Heal, Preaching Hope for Wounded Souls, to help equip pastors and other church leaders to work with people suffering from the effects of trauma. I was intentional in the title to put the focus on healing rather than on trauma itself, and I actually try to stay away from the language of trauma, even though the book largely deals with trauma theory. Instead, I use the term soul wounds to try to broaden the scope of the book, because people can carry wounds in their souls for a number of reasons, because of a broken relationship, because of something that may have happened in their childhood. And the good news is that no matter what the wound is, whether it is caused by a serious encounter with trauma or some other broken event that happened in your life, it is never too late for God to heal those wounds. And preaching can be part of that healing process. In the book, I address a number of different topics. The first chapter focuses on trauma theory, as well as looking at some therapeutic lenses and also some theological approaches to help equip pastors with theological tools to address trauma, not just therapeutic tools to address trauma. The second chapter looks at the Bible as a resource for dealing with trauma, and we employ some interpretive tools to put together a trauma-sensitive approach to exegesis that can be a foundation for preaching. The third chapter of the book looks at ways in which the church has contributed to wounds. There are a number of different ways that the church has done this, unfortunately, throughout history. In this chapter, I look at sex abuse in the church as one example of how the church has participated in wounding people. And then the final chapter focuses on a variety of approaches to preaching and offers lots of examples from sermons. So my hope is that that chapter really helps to put the wheels on the road and helps preachers to see how this can function in their churches. I think one of the things that excites me about this book being out there is that often people have looked at pastoral care or therapy or the relationship, the one-on-one relationship between a church leader and a church member as the main way to process trauma or to work toward healing. I think this book, because its focus is on preaching and on the gathered worship life of the church, puts an accent on how the whole community can participate in this act and how God is using our public worship to change the narrative around trauma and around healing. And I think that is wonderful news for the church.